Hello everyone, my name is Aliana, and you are listening to English Stories, a place where emotions and learning walk together. Today, I bring to you a story of a father and his little girl. A story about pink boots, laughter, and the fragile beauty of life. A story that will warm your heart and may also break it. This is Pink Boots. Don't forget to subscribe to English Stories so you never miss another educational video. The story. There was once a man named David Turner. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, but he was proud of the one title that meant more to him than any other: father. From the moment Emma was born, David felt his world transform. He had been many things in life: a traveler, a writer, a dreamer. But the day he held Emma in his arms, he knew his most important role was now father. Emma had eyes the color of morning skies, and tiny fingers that curled tightly around his. She became his reason to wake up, his reason to smile, and his reason to keep believing that the world was still good. When Emma turned 3, David bought her a pair of bright pink boots. They were small, almost comically tiny, but Emma adored them. She wore them everywhere, splashing in puddles, running across the park, climbing into his lap for bedtime stories. To David, those pink boots became more than shoes. They were symbols of her innocence, her laughter, and the simple magic of childhood. Every evening after work, David would come home to find Emma waiting by the door, boots already on, her hair tied into little pigtails. "Daddy, let's go to the park," she would shout. And even on the days when David was tired, even when the world outside felt heavy, he would smile, take her hand and say, "Of course, my little star." The park became their kingdom. Emma would run, her boots kicking up little sprays of grass and dust, while David watched her with pride swelling in his chest. Sometimes she would fall, scrape her knee, cry for a moment, but then she would get up, pat the dirt off her boots, and run again. "See, Daddy," she would say proudly, "I'm brave like you." And David would laugh softly, kneeling to kiss her forehead. "No, Emma, you're braver than me." As the years passed, their bond only deepened. Emma loved bedtime stories the most. She would crawl into her father's lap, pink boots still on, and listen as he read tales of castles, dragons, and faraway lands. But sometimes Emma didn't want fairy tales. Sometimes she wanted her father's stories. "Tell me about when you were little, Daddy," she would whisper, her voice soft against the blanket. So David told her about his childhood, about climbing trees, riding his bike down steep hills, and how he once fell and scraped his arm so badly his mother had to carry him home. Emma would giggle at these tales, her boots swinging gently in the air. "Daddy," she would ask suddenly, "will you always be with me?" And David, swallowing the lump in his throat, would reply, "Always, Emma, always." One winter morning when Emma was 8, snow covered the town like a white blanket. She rushed to the door, pulling on her pink boots over thick socks. "Come on, Daddy," she cried. "Let's make a snowman." They spent hours together, rolling snow into large, uneven shapes, stacking them high. Emma laughed as David placed a carrot for the nose, and she proudly tied one of her scarves around the snowman's neck. When her cheeks turned red from the cold, David carried her inside, wrapped her in a blanket, and made hot cocoa. It was in those quiet evenings, with Emma curled beside him, her boots left at the door dusted with snow, that David felt life had given him the greatest gift. He often thought, if I have nothing else but Emma, I will still have everything. But life, as it often does, can be cruel in its silence. The day of the accident began like any other. Emma, now 9 years old, wore her pink boots and begged her father to take her to the park. It was a bright afternoon, with sunlight filtering through the trees. They played, they laughed, and David watched his daughter chase butterflies across the grass. On the way home, as they crossed the street, time seemed to shatter. A sudden screech of tires, a blinding moment, and then silence. When David opened his eyes, he was on the ground. People were shouting. The world spun around him. And then he saw her, Emma, her pink boots lying twisted on the asphalt, her small body still, too still. David's scream tore through the air, raw and desperate. He ran to her, lifted her in his arms, calling her name again and again. But her eyes, once so full of light, did not open. In that moment his world ended. The days that followed blurred into each other. The house was quiet, unbearably so. Her boots still sat by the door, as if waiting for her to return. He could not move them. He could not even look at them without breaking. Everywhere he turned, he saw her. In the empty chair at the dinner table, in the untouched storybooks by her bed, in the silence that had replaced her laughter. One night, he sat alone holding her boots in his hands. He whispered, "You asked me once if I would always be with you. I will. Even if you are gone, I will always carry you here." He pressed the boots to his chest, tears falling freely. The pink boots, once filled with the footsteps of a joyful child, had become the heaviest thing he had ever held. And so life went on, but for David, nothing was ever the same. The world moved, seasons changed, but his heart remained with a little girl in pink boots, forever 9 years old. This was Pink Boots, a story of love so pure, and a loss so deep. It reminds us how fragile life can be. Thank you for listening. My name is Aliana, and this is English Stories, where emotions meet learning. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, share it with someone you love, and don't forget to subscribe to English Stories for more emotional journeys told in simple, beautiful English. Because sometimes the best way to learn is to feel. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.